I'm trying out a new segment that I think works out great for you.
Okay.
It's called Look at This Photograph. And I will apologize if there's exactly. I will apologize if there's anybody in here that you have heat with.
I'll just say next.
But I'll share. We'll see what your feelings are and maybe what memories these conjure up.
Sure.
Here's a good one.
Oh my. So yes.
What a great job. With the powder in the eyes. That is an art to do that.
That's a good picture. Yeah. This is funny because this was a buildup towards the heel turn, which I wasn't privy to initially.
Okay.
I thought that whole time when I was with the Pitbulls, I thought, no, this was after the heel turn. That might have been misguided. That might have been I was with Shane and I missed and then hit him by accident. I don't remember. If I was
listen, you got no plausible deniability there. That's point blank range,
maybe,
Francine.
okay, so maybe I am with the Pitbulls. I can't remember what this was, but I will say this story. When I was with Gary and Anthony, I was told the whole time by Brian Lee, who you remember, that I was turning on them and going with him.
Yes.
I was going to be his manager. Now, no one told me this. So I'm thinking, okay, I hate this pleather stuff that I'm wearing. And now I have to go with a biker and wear chaps. This is great, but I'll do it because I want to work, right? The whole build up to Shane, we were telling a story the whole time, but I was never brought into it behind the scenes. So I'm kind of in limbo. And I feel like Shane and Paul knew the outcome. And I didn't get it until maybe a week before when I was told about the table spot. And so we're doing all these little things to inch towards him and I pairing up. But I was so naive and still so green because I didn't have anybody to guide me at this point. You know, I'm just trying to listen to everybody and work. And so that might have been part of the buildup towards me actually pairing with Shane. But that's a great picture.
Here's one.
This, so I was at a mall. I can't remember which mall I was at with Bill Apter.
I love it. Bill is my mentor. Bill gave me my start. Bill recommended me for the job that I have now. I will forever be indebted to Bill Apter.
Bill Apter is a beautiful soul. And he called me one day during ECW and he said, would you like to spend the day with me? And we'll walk around, the mall and we're going to take pictures for the magazine. And I said, absolutely.
Wow magazine for sure. I saw those on newsstand shelves.
Yeah.
It was thick, glossy. It was unlike any magazine I'd ever seen before. And without fail, every month, Francine heavily featured in that magazine. Every month.
I had some friends that did the publication. I don't know. But when Wonderful Wooly calls you and says, spend the day with me, you don't say no, right? Yeah. So I remember we walked around that mall and anything that looked cute, I said, let's take a picture here. And people were like, what is she doing? I had on heels and this dress and an older gentleman following me with a camera. So it was very, very weird back then, but that was a fun day.
I love that. Bill knows his place in wrestling media. He knows he's the elder statesman. So when there are these big lines at media day, he'll be like, can I just squeeze ahead of 15 of you? And we're like, yeah, Bill, you can. We love you.
He's the best.
He is the best.
Yeah.
Look at this one.
Oh, that's a good one. So
look at that. The double vertical suplex.
Yes. So this was a match at the ECW arena. It was myself, Jerry Lynn, and Tommy Dreamer against Just Incredible. Maybe, gosh, who was he with? Was it Lance?
I can tell you, man, you wrestled a few matches with Jerry Lynn.
Yeah.
It usually had Francine. It says Francine, Jerry Lynn, and Tommy Dreamer against Beulah, Just Incredible, and Lance Storm. Usually, although
no, Beulah wasn't there at this point.
There was another one, my gosh, let's see here. Francine, Jerry Lynn, and Tommy Dreamer against Tammy Lynn Bitch and the Impact Players.
Impact Players. That's what I thought that was. This is at the arena. And Jerry goes, you want to double team PJ? And I said, sure. And he said, okay. He goes, we're going to do, we're going to do a suplex with them together. And we started doing that on the road, and it got such a good pop and reaction. And,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
When I did get to wrestle, it was a good time because I had a little experience with that, and not many people are aware, but I could go back in the day.
I remember reading the house show results for like a month solid in '99 as a teenager, and every day it was Francine beats Steve Corino. Francine beats Steve Corino. You were married to him on the road. I love it. You were just whooping his ass all over the country.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I was just with him in NXT, and I told him that night, I said, I want to apologize to you again. Because anytime I had to, beat up the boys, I felt awful. Yeah. I actually felt awful because I'm this little bitty girl coming in like RoboCop and just killing people. And like Bubba said, he said, sometimes it's believable, but if it's too much, then you have the fans going, what?
Yeah.
He said, but the way Paul used you, it was believable because it wasn't like 42 moves in a row. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I would always apologize. I'd be like, please, I hope you don't resent me because it wasn't me. It wasn't me pitching an idea. Let me go beat up male roster. No, that was Paul saying, you're going to get this pop and people are going to love it. And poor Steve kind of just fell into the loop. But Steve said he loved it because he was relatively new with the company and it gave him a rub that he said he needed. So he didn't mind at all, which made me happy. And him and I were very close friends and still are. So it was a good
I really got into ECW. Like when I saw them on Raw, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I finally got to watch it here in Kentucky on TNN. And Steve was such a prominently featured character on that show. Yeah. And I loved it. Like he was going over to Limp Bizkit concerts and stuff like that. Like all kinds of cool stuff. It was great. I really liked it.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites because anything that I said, hey, can I do this? Yes. Or do you want to do this? Yeah, sure. Like he didn't care. Just let's do it.
Here's an interesting one. I actually watched this show over the last week and I was like, well, I got to add this. Francine, what's going on here? What's going on here?
This is my favorite promo of all time that I ever cut. It was a pay-per-view and Paul, it was supposed to be me and Steve doing our verbiage together, but Paul let us make it up. Like Paul was like, okay, this is the theme we're going for. This is, just shoot something, which Paul was great for because verbatim, I can't remember. Most of the time I can't, unless I need to get something specifically over because that's part of the storyline. This one, he let Steve and I just improv. And it turned out hilarious into one of my favorite things. And the room that we walked into had that huge sandwich. It was like a 6-foot sandwich, deli sandwich. And I said, I'm going to try and pop the boys and I'm going to pretend this thing in my mouth. I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. And when they said, roll, I just picked it up and I was trying. Innuendo probably because that's what ECW was. But I'm telling you, if you haven't seen that promo, look it up because it is hilarious. And it was myself, Carino,
it's great,
Jack Victory, Just Incredible, Missy Hyatt, and it was hilarious. So good, so good. It's my favorite.
Another great shot. Look at you about to dole out. She's just sitting there like, what do you mean? What do you mean somebody's behind me?
First of all, I loved working with Beulah. 100% loved working with her. I feel like we were the OGs of the cat fight. Like her and I had the best time. So this was a mixed tag. It was Shane and I versus her and Tommy. That cookie sheet was Hat Guy in the front row. If you're an ECW fan, you know who I am. Hawaiian shirt guy, Hat Guy, that whole front row. He had the cookie sheet. So ahead of time, I tell him, take this cookie sheet, show it to me, and I'm going to fight you for it. I'm going to slap you. Your hat's going to fall off your head. Because we used to get some of the guys that were in the crowd, like, into the show. You know what I mean? Yes. And you see me struggling for this cookie sheet. And I finally I smack him, and that gets a pop. And then I climb up, and I hit her with it. And I think right after that, Dreamer comes up behind me and does the coochie claw.
Oh God.
So yeah, this was the dreaded cookie sheet that we love to use so much. But another great mixed tag. I believe that one, Shane got hit with a bottle by a fan.
Okay.
And went nuts. I mean, you could see in the footage, you see the fan go after him, and then Tommy sees him trying to fight the fan, so he grabs Shane and like gets him back to safety, and then Atlas just swarms the guy and gets him out of there. So not the first time, not the last time we were ever attacked.
I'm interested to see if you know what this, it's more of a screenshot than a photo.
Okay.
But this one.
Yes, I do remember this. This was the documentary.
Incredible documentary. Jeremy Borash did.
Jeremy Borash and Shane were behind this one. What was that called?
Forever Hardcore.
Forever Hardcore. That's right. I had to go to Nashville, and I think that was at Jeremy's apartment. They took me to his apartment and then took me to a hotel afterwards. But yeah, that was to counter the one that WWE did that left all of us out. So yes, whoever was left out of that one was profiled on this one, and I got to be profiled. So